Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pawpaw's Workshop. I want to take just a moment and give you a quick garden update. I know this isn't a garden channel, but I've been doing a few videos here and there on what's happening in my garden. Now, behind me is a satsuma tree, and it's doing really well. Now, the summers down here are extremely hot. We're in zone 9, and the summers have been, so far, the temperatures have been over 95, 100 degrees with a heat index of 110, 111. Just crazy heat. So I'm going to take a quick walk around and just show you some of the things that are happening in the garden and surviving the heat. The satsumas are just doing fantastic. Look at them. They're just everywhere on this tree. Now, this particular tree has always been a fantastic producer of fruit, and this year is no different. Now, with the heat this year, I have had to water this tree on a regular basis. I have the rustic potatoes planted here. Now, they're just about ready for harvest. Now, I'm waiting for the little flowers to bud out so I can get ready to harvest these. But these have been in this container now for about 3.5, almost 4 months. So it's getting real close to the time to harvest. Now, this was the first year that I actually have grown the rustic potatoes in a tub, so I can't wait to see what they look like. Let's head over to the next container. Here I have some one bean plant. Now, I planted a whole bunch of bean plants, and unfortunately this is the only one that came up. What you see there is some brand new sweet potatoes. I planted these yesterday, and again, this is the first time having these in the tub, so I want to see how they do. I've also had people tell me, well, you should be putting them in water and letting them grow roots. And other times people will say, oh no, just stick them straight into the ground. Well, I'm doing a little bit of both. This group was stuck straight into the ground. And then I have another group on my indoor garden that are under the grow lights. Now, these are just in the plain water. And of course, I change the water about every other day. Now, these went in there yesterday, and I'm going to see how it does with growing of the roots and then performing in the garden. So these will be transitioned out into the garden probably in about 2, maybe 3 weeks. One of the things that I really want to show you that I'm just really proud of are the bell peppers. They are doing fantastic. Typically, when it gets really hot, basically over about 90, 95 degrees, production pretty much stops. But here you can see I still have lots of bell peppers that are coming in. Now, the nice thing about this, these bell peppers have been feeding us for quite a while. We've been getting some really nice, beautiful bell peppers. And I have a lot of bell peppers coming in right now that are getting fairly close to being ready to pick. Now, inside of here is a bell pepper that's just about ready to pick. Give that a few more days and it'll be on the dinner table. And there's another one coming in right up there that's looking real good also. The strawberries are slowing down on their production, but I've been able to really triple the amount of strawberries that I have this year. So I can hardly wait to get these planted into the garden in our permanent home and be able to be ready for next year, because this is going to be great. Even with the high heat, I'm still getting some strawberries. They're just a lot smaller than what they were earlier in the year. Now, even with this extreme heat, I'm able to get some new growth on these little small seedlings, and this is going to be a good producer for next year. Eggplants love the heat, and I have tons of eggplants. I've got them all scattered back in here, and it's about time to start harvesting some. Now, I've been eating the eggplants all season long, and this is the next round that's about ready to harvest. There's one down here too. Oh, that looks good. We're on this plant. I've got quite a few also, and again, they are just about ready to harvest. Oh, they look so good. I can't wait to bring those in and put them on the dinner table. These young tomato plants that I have here are actually clones from the original ones. I started off with 4 tomato plants this year. I was able to take the little suckers off of the main plant and create some brand new tomatoes. So I have 4 more here that are in the ground growing and producing tomatoes. Keep in mind, it is hot out here, and we're doing everything we can to be able to keep it cool, including putting up a shade screen to help protect the greenhouse and this area of the garden. The tomato plants that I started with in the spring are still thriving and doing really, really well. You ready? I have some right here that are real close to being ready to pick. So looks like we're gonna have some tomatoes today. I have some down here, same way, just about ready to harvest. Even the petunias have been struggling with the heat, but they're still very pretty. Now this is some of the young sucker plants that I have transplanted into these pots to be able to get going. And you can see some of the effects of the heat. So some of these are ready to be transplanted into the permanent home. Others of them are still suffering from a lot of heat. So I'm gonna have to do some shuffling and move these around. All of my sweet potato slips have come from these two potatoes, and they're still producing even more. So we're gonna see how long we can get some additional slips before this phase is done. I planted some strawberries from the seed from the grocery store, and these little guys are coming up pretty good too. So I've been very pleased. Now these take a long time to be able to grow, but from a seed, from a store-bought strawberry, that's not bad. I'm happy with these results, and this was a little experiment that I did to see how successful I could be. This little bed is okra. Now I planted these 3 days ago, and it says it takes 10 to 12 days to be able to start growing. And if you look closely, I've got one here, I've got another one sprouting up right in this area. This little guy is coming up, one over here and here, right here also. So far, this is just fantastic for only 3 days. These lights definitely help, and I'm getting ready to add some grow lights specific for the gardening. Even tried to take some of the cuttings from the petunias and grow brand new plants, and I'm having mixed results with this, but I think this is actually going to turn out real good. Now this little flower back here really should have cut off, but I wanted just to see how it would do, and you know, it's looking pretty good. But it really needs to be able to develop the root system more. The celery also is actually doing quite well. Now this celery was in the greenhouse for a while and was struggling, but I went ahead and transferred it out here into this pot, and it's doing much, much better. As far as the garlic, wrong time of the year to even try to plant it, but what the heck, I gave it a shot. And it's just overwhelmingly hot. So I think what I will do is this fall, plant another crop of the garlic and be able to let it grow all winter long. But for right now, I think I'm gonna harvest some of the shoots of the celery and bring it in for lunch. So there's my quick tour of the garden. I'm really excited on how well it's doing, especially with this tremendous heat that we have had this summer. I'm going to continue to add additional vegetables over the summer. The okra is a summer crop, and I still have time to be able to grow before it gets into the fall and the winter. The next plants that I'm going to be adding to the garden is the cauliflower and the broccoli. That's a fall weather crop, and it's just about time to start those crops indoors and get them growing so that this fall I'll be able to transfer them out into the garden. Now, like I said, I'm going to be adding some grow lights to the indoors, and the broccoli and the cauliflower and that okra will be heading under those lights very, very soon. Until next time, I'd love to see you out in my garden, and I'm having a blast. I am so glad that I started gardening again. It is a lot of fun and relaxing. I hope that you can do the same in your garden. Until next time, bye-bye now.